Patrick Gavin, POLITICO. It is now time to turn the table with CBS News' John Dickerson. John, I feel like I've been asking you kind of the same question for the past 3 weeks, but healthcare and its not very great rollout is the ongoing story here in Washington. Where do things stand now? I know the president has been continuing to make a strong PR push for it. Are things getting better for him and obviously more important for the actual system itself?
I think things are getting better. Certainly there are more stories this week since since the fixes were put in of people successfully signing up. I have one person I've been following who for 2 months has been struggling through all of the different nightmares related to HealthCare.gov. And she finally sent me a note this week, and she'd had a clean, clear sign-up process. And in fact, the promises that the Obama administration had made came true. Her premiums are lower than she thought. Her deductible is lower. And so she's quite happy in the end after 2 months of struggle. They need those stories to mount. There's some sign that they are mounting a little bit, but that doesn't mean that there aren't troubles ahead. There have been these back-end problems. Which is basically the information getting accurately from the website to the insurance companies. Those are still not worked out, and so people can think they have insurance, but they don't actually have it. So the president's going to need to fix that and then hope for a couple of months of good, strong sign-up numbers to kind of settle the problems that have happened over the last 2 months.
And do we have any indication about that, about sort of where the trajectory is going in terms of the amount of people that sign up? This is assuming that the system works perfectly great. They still need a lot of people to come on board. Is the system grossly behind with that, or is there still a chance for them to catch up?
Well, the system is behind because of the 2-month troubles, but there is some sign, and when every figure we use here, we're depending on the administration, so we really have to take their word for it. But there is some sign that since December 1st, there have been robust signups, and that the website's working, and that people are going all the way through the process. They expect a real glut of people heading up to that December 23 deadline, which is the deadline if you want to have insurance on the 1st of January. Now the question, so we might see a lot more signups. The problem, though, of course, is they've had capacity issues throughout this website's short life. And if more people are signing up in advance of that December 23rd deadline, then it could overwhelm the system, both the website itself and then overwhelm that back-end process with getting accurate information to the insurance companies.
Here in D.C., we heard news this week that Speaker Boehner's top aides actually met with some fellow lawmakers to kind of teach them or to talk to them about how to speak with female constituents, how to run against female opponents. The Republican Party, they believe, obviously have a female problem at the voting booth. Obviously, women are as diverse in their views as any other group, but is there a specific problem, a specific area that the Republican Party has to address in order to sort of get more women voters on their side?
Well, yes and no. I mean, on the one hand, they have to fix the kind of Todd Akin problem or some of these extraordinary gaffes by some of the candidates who've been running for office in the Republican Party. They have to basically learn what you can and can't say in a campaign, but that's really just a small part of it. If voters didn't already have certain sets of feelings about the Republican Party, those Todd Akins wouldn't be able to really attach to anything, and other Republican candidates wouldn't be so nervous about it. So that is a wider set of issues, everything from the overemphasis, some believe, on choice issues and the abortion issue, but also contraception. There was a huge battle over that with respect to the president's health care plan. Some Republicans thought they got on the wrong side of that. But the tension here, of course, is that there are a lot of Republican women who hold these views, and so it's going to be tricky for the party in terms of making inroads with those middle-of-the-road women voters because it may be that just policies they have are ones that aren't popular for one reason or another with women voters.
All right, John, tell us about your program, Face the Nation, this Sunday.
Well, we're going to have Senator Toomey of Pennsylvania, and then we're going to have Senator Tester from Montana also on to talk about a variety of issues, HealthCare.gov, the budget. The president this week gave a really big speech about the focus for his presidency for the next 3 years, which will be on income inequality. And we'll also talk about whatever else happens to break between now and then.
All right, and before we let you go, on a more serious news, which is if you are lucky enough to get in a few hours of downtime between now and New Year's, are there any books on your holiday reading list this year?
Well, Yes, I'm in the middle of reading The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer. It's a book of fiction about a group of kids that met in camp in the 70s, which is a great book. And then I'm also finishing up some of those presidential biographies that we talked about last week. So The Bully Pulpit, Doris Kearns Goodwin, Wilson by Scott Berg, and Days of Fire by Peter Baker about the Bush-Cheney White House. I still have about 50 pages in each to go.
John, it's the holidays. You got to put the politics down.
No, they're
That's
great
the whole
books.
point.
They're interesting.
All right. John Dickerson with CBS News. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks, Patrick.